I've worked with a lot of models and actors in my day. I don't think they're really different than anybody else. The thing that most people misunderstand about them is if you're 6 feet tall and fully developed and 18, you're still 18. I've been at parties in Milan and Paris and New York in the fashion industry where there are people who are 14, 15 years old out at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Just because they look like grown women, they're still children. And I'm sure a lot of the people in that business oh, don't worry, they'll always be supervised, they'll be watched after, but there was really none of that. There's some nasty predatorial people out there, and there's kids who would, be in bed at 11 o'clock at night with cucumbers in their eyelids and doing facials, and then there'd be the ones that would be out getting loaded and hooking up with guys as old as their father. I would tell them, I said, listen, if someone's asking you out to dinner and they're an agent or a manager, it's not about work. Work gets done in offices and sometimes over lunch. If someone's asking to take you to dinner, they're trying to have sex with you. If someone's trying to take you to a party, they're trying to have sex with you. I like women as much as the next guy, but I don't allow people to be mistreated, especially these kids, I book a campaign to shoot some kind of hair product. I don't remember what it was. And we show up and we're shooting in Orange County. And I think I have 3 or 4 or 5 models I'm shooting that day. And when you're doing that, it's just kind of an assembly line. You set up your setup and you're just like, turn this way, turn that way, bring the next one. You have a 10-hour day and you've got a lot to do. So I think this was our 3rd model of the day. And I look at my assistant, Stuart, and I said, hey, bring out the next one. And he goes, she's not coming out. What do you mean she's not coming out? She's locked in the janitor's closet and she's crying. So I'm like, boom, boom, boom. Annie. She's like, you can't come in. And I was like, Annie, it's Scott the photographer. Show must go on. And she's like, okay, you can come in, but no one else. So I walk in, the poor thing, she's just sitting there with a thong on and no bra, and she's crying, and all of her makeup is ruined, which of course I'm just calculating. This is killing the timing of my day. And I just sit down next to her and I was like, what's going on? What's wrong? And she said, that motherfucker cut off all my hair and called me a cunt. She had long, beautiful hair and they cut it to like here. And I go, who? The guy with the fucking tribal tattoos and the Range Rover. I'm like, oh fuck, it's the client. It's the guy that hired me. And the thing about hair and models is it's very, very specific. Like when you're booking a model, if you're changing the color, if you're cutting a significant length off, this is to be agreed upon in advance. None of this was discussed. Her hair was not to be messed with, and this guy just cut most of her hair off. And then when she got upset about it, he called her a cunt. And I got a bit of a temper, when pushed. So I walk out and I'm like, hey, did you cut my model's fucking hair off without asking her and then call her a cunt? And he was unapologetic. He just goes, yeah, I own that cunt for 10 hours. I'll do whatever I want to her. Jesus Christ. Yeah, boy. So I said, Stuart, pack up the trucks, we're leaving. And the guy goes, you leave, I'll fucking sue you. And I'm like, oh, fuck. All right, here's the deal. You're gonna let her go home and you're gonna pay her in full now with a check, and we're just gonna get through this. And the guy goes, fine. So I send her home and we finish the shoot. And a couple days later, she calls me and she's like, listen, I want to thank you for standing up for me. And I was like, yeah, of course, that guy's a fucking asshole. I'll never work for him again. And she said, I want to take you to lunch. And I said, yeah, you don't have to take me to lunch. It's fine. And she goes, no, I really want to. And I said, okay, all right. So we're having a nice lunch. She's telling me where she's from. And we're about 45 minutes into lunch. And she was just like, hey, do you want to have sex? And I was like, yeah. So that happened, and that ended up going on for like a series of years. I never knew where she was or what she was doing. It was one of those kind of like so many pretty girls are, where you're just like, how is this person always in like on someone's yacht or in Dubai or in, and I'm like, you think you might know, but you don't want to be judgmental. Like, I don't see any guys in these photos, but whatever. So yeah, so anyway, that became a friend for a while, I guess.